Welcome everybody to another round of World of Tanks subscriber replays. My name as always is Maxwell, and today's first video is from the user Arabica. That is Arabica, and he's driving the IS-3 on an encounter battle on El Haluf. IS-3 being a tier 8 heavy tank for the Russians. This tank is borderline OP, especially for its tier. It's got an okay hit point pool, considering the Pershing has about the same, only 60 hit points less, and it's a medium tank. T-32, as you can see in the front there, has a bit more hit points. But speed and maneuverability on this tank are good. Its armor is excellent. Especially, it can just be surprisingly bouncy, especially if you get hit somewhere in the side or on that turret. Then this tank can really catch people off guard. And its cannon is also good for its tier. So Arabica are going to be doing what a good heavy tank does, despite the, no matter what mode it is, they're going to be heading all the way to the far north. Spots out a Hellcat here. You can see the aiming time on his cannon letting them down a bit. So the T-32 had his shot, so took his shot as well. And as it is, he takes out the Hellcat and picks up a very, very early kill number 1 here. Does also spot out a Tiger. Gets a good hit on him as well. Looks like the early scouting from the 416 really paying dividends here, as the Allied team's able to put shot after shot into the camping tanks there. And a beautiful shot to hit the side of the Tiger 1 and take him out in the fog of war. I'm not sure if somebody else hit him first or whether that one was an ammo rack. Either way, it was a fantastic shot. Unfortunately, that Object 416 has now been taken out, but he traded his life for a Tiger 1 and a Hellcat, so actually not really sure that that worked out in the Allies' favour. But then again, they're going to take this momentum going forward. As you can see, they now have a presence on the hill. The Jagdpanzer Mark IV up on the elevated section there. T-32 coming in to fill the space behind him, and the IS-3 coming in after that. Unfortunately, though, as you can see, there aren't really very many of them on this hill. Although they have done their job well of taking the hill, there probably isn't enough of them. If the enemy team has concentrated enough forces here, this might be a difficult battle. Beautiful shot on the Cromwell there, only leaving him with 41 hit points. Probably couldn't have taken him out with a single shot. As you can see, the enemy tanks think that there's nobody really here, but Arabica's going to come around the corner and prove them wrong. This IS-3 going to be trying to charge down the Jagdpanzer IV here. T-32 not really going to offer any aid. He's still trying to shoot that Cromwell for some reason, when he's got a much higher threat in front of him. Arabica also doing the same. Drops back to try and get a hit on this Cromwell, but he just fades away into the fog of war. He's going to be waiting patiently. Although they can afford to be a little bit kill hungry like that, considering that there aren't really very many enemy tanks here either. There's only that IS-3 and that T-34-85, and they're not really going to pose too much of a threat. Very unlucky first hit there to take. Takes his ammo rack out, so he's going to immediately use that repair kit just to get that one fixed up. Unfortunately, his piked front armor was facing nice and flat towards the enemy IS-3 there, so he was able just to get a shot straight through that. Got to be careful with how you angle this tank, because it's got that piked front. You can't just do the normal side scraping tactic that you would employ with, say, the flat fronted vehicles from the Germans or the Russian mediums. Got to play it carefully here. As you can see, the enemy IS-3 poking himself up. Arabica just having a quick look behind him there, because that IS-3 shot was so wide that just wondering if he was firing at somebody else, but no, indeed he just missed his shot terribly. Realises that he doesn't really want to push against this, considering that the enemy team does have tanks in the background there. That T-32 very low on hit points though, and the enemy tanks are both focusing on that T-32 there. Was trying to get a shot on the side of the IS-3's turret. Unfortunately, his gun depression let him down there, so decided just to shoot the T-34-85 instead. IS-3 focused completely on Arabica here, so the T-32 decides to poke over the top and try and get a hit on him. And Arabica going to take this opportunity to get some revenge damage. Unfortunately, that one only hits his tracks, and he's going to be forced to fall back, as he doesn't have the gun depression to be able to duel with him. But the T-32 was able to land a fantastic shot on the side of that IS-3. There's a Hellcat still in the cap circle, but it looks like that AT-8's been able to reset him now, or at least get eyes on him so that somebody could reset. Allied team not doing particularly well at the moment, losing 8 kills to 3. So this is going to be a bit of a hill to climb. Most of the enemy Allied tanks, as you can see, are tank destroyers, and they're camped in the back. And they just got out-camped, basically, by the enemy team. You can see that Cromwell is still alive, and he's spotting out all of the tank destroyers. Anybody who comes to try and kill him, the enemy team is just whittling them down and taking them out. Arabica just trolling that IS-3 into having his shot. Unfortunately for him, the IS-3's fallen back far enough. T-32 has his shot as well, so both of them should be reloading now, and the T-32 hasn't dropped back far enough, and Arabica's able to take him out and pick up kill number 3. And somebody really has to do something about this Cromwell now, because he is continuing just to spot everybody out here, and the enemy team is just killing everybody in their sights. Gets a little bit brave now and pokes himself up a little bit further, and Arabica is able to finally take him out and pick up kill number 4. So hopefully that should stem the flow of blood from the Allied team. They are still losing 7 kills to 10, but they've managed to pull this one back a little bit to just within 3 kills. That T-32 doing a little bit of mountaineering, sneaking around the side there, and Arabica is going to use this opportunity to close in from the side of this IS-3, who takes a hit in the front from the T-32. Beautiful shot on the move there to pick up kill number 5. He's got to get himself into cover now because he doesn't want to take any damage from those camping tank destroyers, although the enemy team still does have people in the cap circle. He's got a Hellcat closing in from the side, bounces a shot from somebody, and he's going to reverse a little bit, try and get himself back into cover. Don't think there's anybody up on the hill to the right. Oh, spots a very distant Jagdpanzer there, making his way up the hill, gets a great shot into his rear. Somebody spots out the T-34-85 that is doing the base capture. And the Hellcat pokes himself out, and if he's not careful, he's going to get himself taken out, and he wasn't careful, and he got himself taken out. And that is kill number 6 now for Arabica, and his well-deserved Top Gun medal. Allied team doing a great job of evening the score here. It's now 11 kills to 10. And it looks like that T-34-85 that was doing the base capture has now been eliminated. And Arabica going to be heading up the hill here. We're going to speed this one up a little bit so we get back into the action, and back into the action we are. Arabica finds a Tiger 2. The Tiger 2 hits him but doesn't really do any damage. The bouncy IS-3 just coming into play there. And this Tiger 2 is at a terrible, terrible angle. He's got none of his front armor facing the IS-3 here. So Arabica's just going to use this opportunity to relocate. Looks like there's a Rheinmetall camped out on the ridge in the center here, and if he can get a side shot on him, that's going to remove a big threat from the game. And indeed he can get a side shot, spends his time aiming, takes him out, and that is a big threat removed now. The cannon on the Rheinmetall can do some serious damage, but it may be too little too late, as they are currently losing 11 kills to 13. Only 2 tanks left for the Allies, that KV-1S and Arabica himself in the IS-3. You can see the KV-1S is camping probably about in the most ridiculous position it is possible for him to camp, all the way over in the spot where the artillery would normally be. And I'll be very, very surprised if his view range would allow him to see anything from that position. So Arabica finds the Tiger 2. He's decided that he's got the hit points just to take this one on the chin, but as it is, the Tiger 2 rushes his shot and plants it into the dirt, and Arabica is able to take him out with 0 damage returned. And that's kill number 8 now, and that is a Radley Walters medal. So still losing 13 kills to 12, but I would really call that 14 kills to 12, because I don't think that KV-1S is really going to do anything in the position that he's in. He is pretty much useless at the moment, so it's just Arabica versus another KV-1S, a Jagdpanzer 4 and that SU-100. Although people are complaining in the chat that the KV-1S and the SU-100 are bots, with the SU-100 having a kill, I'm not really sure if that's going to be true. He may just be a bad player. So now we're going to be having a scout around here, trying to find where the remaining tanks are. It's a safe bet that the KV-1S, if he is really a bot, is going to be around here somewhere, around the cap circle, probably maybe AFK. And there he is, camping in the background there. Looks like he is AFK, actually, so the calls for him being a bot may actually be justified. or to be honest, might not be a bot, might just be AFK, which I think he indeed is. So Arabica's just going to take this guy out. He's a free 810 damage. Switches to HE rounds because he's only got 28 health left, and he wants to keep his remaining good shells for the guys who actually know what they're doing. Jagdpanzer 4 hoves into view behind him, but he's nowhere near quick enough to be able to get a shot onto Arabica, and another shot landed, probably from that SU-100. So if he is a bot, he's a little bit smarter. I'm not sure what this Jagdpanzer's doing. Turns himself around and tries to make a run for it, but he really should have understood that he didn't have anywhere near enough time or space to get away from the IS-3, and as it is, he becomes kill number 10 and the well-deserved Pools medal. So going to speed this one up now until the action winds down. Like I said, people are calling for the fact that the SU-100 is a bot. And if he wasn't a bot, though, I would imagine that he'd be defending himself in chat. As it is, they're just giving away his position. Something that I don't really agree with. Even if he is a bot, you don't have to give away his position. And Arabica just going to come around the corner, probably find him here. He's got full hit points though, so this is... Oh, there we go. Gets an ammo rack. Sweet, sweet justice. Takes out the SU-100 with an ammo rack. And that is GG and the victory for Arabica, picking up a monster 11 kills and over 5,000 points of damage. So absolutely awesome replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget to stick around, guys, because as always, the score screens and another replay are coming right up. And our second replay of the day is from the user Colonel Cornell. That's Colonel Cornell, and he's driving the E50 on a standard battle on the Arctic region. E50 being a tier 9 medium tank for the Germans. This thing is a bit of a beast. It gets a decent cannon on it, has okay speed and maneuverability, but one thing it does have going for it for a medium tank is its size. As you can see, larger than a T-32, and because people see that medium symbol, they don't really think it's much of a threat, but this thing can be used like a guided missile, and when it is ramming, it can do some serious damage to people. As you can see, when it comes alongside this 112 here, it is wider, taller, and probably a little bit longer as well. So even though it's a medium tank, it is still very dangerous when it decides to ram somebody. So straight away spots out the WZ-132, thinks he's going to get a shot on him, but it looks like the 132 is pretty smart, and he's just keeping behind the dip in the terrain. Colonel Cornell not really looking where he's going, crashes into a rock now. I'm going to be following around with the rest of his team here. Got a scout early on in the front there who dies immediately, rushed headlong into the enemy team here. And it's going to be up to the rest of his allies to try and mop up the mess. Looking like he's trying to get a shot on that T-44, but he can't really sneak one through the wreckage of the AMX-12T there. It'll be interesting at the end to see if that shot landed, but I don't think it did, just considering the very little of the T-44 that could be seen. Wow, a VK-4502A going full ham across the centre there, already lost pretty much all of his hit points. T-44 doing exactly the same thing. I think he was trying to be a pal and coming to the rescue of the VK-4502, but as it is, he's just lost all of his hit points as well. Now gets himself taken out. So not a great start for the enemy team here, although they are winning kills-wise. The VK-4502 actually survives in the end, and Colonel Cornell, unfortunately, his first shot bounced on the T-69. A little bit unfortunate, considering that the T-69 is made out of tissue paper. Looks like this 112 has had enough of that ridiculous VK-4502. But he actually gets taken out by a T-44. So the 112 spins himself around and comes to offer some backup to Colonel Cornell, who's going to be facing off against the T-69 now. But with the front armor of the C-50, I'm pretty confident that he's going to be able to turn shots aside from that T-69. He's just got to keep his lower plate hidden. And unfortunately, when coming over the top of a hill, keeping your lower plate hidden isn't particularly easy. Bounces another shot, but it looks like this T-69 isn't very good on the trigger, as he's missed one shot and bounced another. Still isn't able to get any damage through this T-69. Doesn't take any in return though, just damages his observation device, which isn't too bad whatsoever. There's finding Jagdpanther 2 in the background. Again, he's been pretty smart though, as he is hiding his lower plate. Unfortunately for him though, Colonel Cornwall does have the penetration to be able to get straight through his armor. The 112 just decides to go full ham, and realizes that he may have made a bad choice, considering he takes a couple of hits from the T-69, and the Jagdpanther 2 has his turn as well. T-69 must be reloaded by this point, as he comes around trying to get another shot on to the 112. And Colonel Cornwall just playing this one carefully. Finds out a T-25-2 here. Very, very lucky to get a shot through that, because most of the turret of the T-25-2 is gun mantlet, and the gun mantlet is very, very difficult to penetrate. So just playing the waiting game right now. Going to try and lure the enemy tanks into coming over the ridge for them, rather than them going over the ridge themselves. Just calling out in the chat for the T-44 that they need support, but I think the T-44 is pretty entrenched where he is. And there we go, returns fire on the T-25-2, but hits the gun mantlet this time, and that shot's never going to penetrate the gun mantlet of a T-25-2. Comes over the hill again. He's cresting the hill like this. He's going to be exposing his lower plate, so he's got to play it carefully. Is able to get a good shot onto the T-69. I'm not sure what this 112's doing. He's just turned around and put his rear armor to the T-69. The T-69 says, yes, please, I will have some of that. And the 112 is able to get away now, and Colonel Cornwall's in a much better position there. Cresting the hill in that position will keep his lower plate hidden from the T-69. Bounces a shot from the T-25-2. I think that 112's just going around to try and head off the Panther 2 that has appeared in the south there. And the Waffenträger Panzer IV gets himself taken out as well. Colonel Cornwall able to get a shot onto him because he wasn't paying attention. Relied a little bit too much on his allies to hold off the tanks here, which really you shouldn't do. Always keep an eye on what's going on in your rear. This T-69 backing off like he's reloading, so that's probably what he's doing. Tries to make a run for it. Colonel Cornwall decides just to let him go. And because really he didn't have the reload speed to be able to get him. As you can see, he's already down off the ridge by the time Colonel Cornwall was loaded. Shot landing close by there. It's not artillery, because there is no artillery in this game. And as you can see here, the little ridge has finally been taken for the Allies, but at what expense? They are losing 6 kills to 11 at the moment. This T-69 is almost certainly reloaded and repositioned. Colonel Cornwall just keeping his tank angled and his lower plate hidden, because one good shot will be enough to take out this T-69. T-69 might be a little bit more confident than he should be, considering Colonel's bounced so many shots on him so far. But I think he's getting a little bit sick now and just decides to go around and take him out, and that's finally taken out that T-69 and picked up his first kill now of the match after doing 2,000 and a bit points of damage. Panther 2 quickly falls in the south there as well, and that just leaves that T-25-2 somewhere in the area. But as you can see, the southern flank has completely crumbled for the Allied team, and tanks are just dying left and right. Only 3 of them left against 6 tanks on the enemy team. You can see them winning 12 kills to 9, the enemy team that is, and they've only got 1 person in the base capture at the moment. We can almost guarantee that more people are going to be making a beeline. Who is that over there? I think that is the M103. That is indeed the M103, dueling it out in the centre. There's still that T-25AT over on the left-hand side. Colonel Cornwall gets a beautiful shot onto him, full speed on the move, but instead... rather than stopping and dueling it out with him, he's making his way to the cap circle, because really got to take these guys out. Gets a lovely shot onto the Black Prince there, but it doesn't look like the Black Prince is actually in the cap circle, so that one's not actually reset here. Gonna be going for the Rheinmetall instead, and gets a lovely shot on the Rheinmetall to reset the cap basically all the way to 0. And that is GG. Just saved the game for the Allied team. Bounces a shot from the T-34. Not surprising with the nice angle of the front plate here. And it's going to take Colonel Cornwall now to try and reset this cap. He's just got to hold them up long enough for the T-44 to arrive. Unfortunately, not able to get a shot through the front armor of the Black Prince there. Black Prince being very, very troll indeed. And in fact, all three of them in the cap circle now. I was going to say only 10 seconds left on the cap, but Colonel Cornwall's able to get a good reset on the Black Prince. He's got to count on the T-44 here. The T-44 needs to get a shot on to the T-34 to reset this one. Gets another hit on the Black Prince. You can see he has high explosive ammunition loaded just because he's trying to hit that Rheinmetall instead. You can see the Black Prince is being smart here. He's trying to block the shots on the Rheinmetall. He's trying to get in front of the Rheinmetall, but the Rheinmetall was having none of it. He decided he wanted to poke out and get damage himself, wanted all the glory. And because of that, he got himself killed. If he just allowed the Black Prince to sit in front of him, they might have been able to finish that base capture. But as it is, the Rheinmetall screwed that one up, got himself killed, and they got the reset. Gets a lovely shot on the T-25 AT, unfortunately. May not be enough as he's got 14 hit points left. Still fires his gun by accident as he's turning. I'm sure the adrenaline is really pumping at the moment as he's only got 150 hit points himself. Oh, very, very close. Doesn't quite land the shot on the T-25 AT, but he's got to think he's got a faster reload, so he's just going to sit, wait this one out, angles himself just in case, takes his shot, takes him out, and that's kill number 3. Just as the T-44 resets the cap again, Colonel Cornwall's got a lovely shot on the side of that T-34, hits him, takes his track out, sets him on fire. One more shot will be enough to take out this T-34. And Colonel Cornwall gets that one, and that's kill number 4. That just leaves a T-30 on the enemy team. Unfortunately for the allies here, you can see the T-44's only got 266 hit points. The E-50 of Colonel Cornwall only 153. Even if they had close to full hit points, this T-30 is able to kick out a huge amount of alpha damage. So, going to have to play this one carefully, as this T-30 is almost certainly going to be camping in and around the cap circle. You can see him telling them in the chat to fight like men. But the decision they're going to make instead is to play this one smart. So what they decide to do here is the T-44 goes into the cap circle while Colonel Cornwall waits some distance off to try and spot the T-30 if he decides to come in. This T-30 is just being an absolute chicken though and hiding. Not really sure what happened there. The T-44 looks like he got reset, so he may have just driven out of the cap circle by accident. They're asking in the chat if he just shot. But the last time he was spotted was all the way in the south here. Even if you can make that out with my broken minimap. And there we go, spots out the T-30. He's still got 621 hit points, so not really sure why he's still hiding. He can probably take 2, possibly 3 hits from the allied team. So he probably would have been able to take them out if he'd fired at Colonel Cornwall. Oh, very unlucky, just a bounce on the side there. May not have the fully upgraded cannon, but Colonel Cornwall's going to take advantage of that. Get one good shot straight through his front, and then he's going to have to make a run for it. Still got 40 odd seconds on the cap here. So can't rely on the fact that he can die and then the T-30 not reset. I'm just having a quick look here. I don't know if the T-30 is stuck or not. I would have thought he would have been able to make it up this area, or at least drive around the front here, but not really. But Colonel Cornwall playing this one very, very smart. He's backing off until he's out of proxy spot range, and then he's going to make his way all the way around the left of the T-30. I'm going to try and surprise him from the left. Gets spotted out a little bit early here. The T-30 does find him, has his shot and bounces that one. Very, very unlucky from the T-30, and Colonel Cornwall's got all the time in the world. Misses his shot as well. Comes in, and now this is anybody's game, but to be honest, it's going to be over regardless of what happens here. The T-30 tries to commit suicide. Colonel Cornwall says, no you don't, takes him out. Kill number 5 and 6,500 points of damage. So absolutely awesome ending to an awesomely well played game there from Colonel Cornwall in his E-50. So thank you very much for sending that replay in. Don't forget, guys, if you've got yourself a great replay, please send that into replay@screenreality.com. Link for that is in the description. Just attach the replay file to your email or just send me the link to the What Replay website where I can find it, and I'll definitely have a look at it. So don't forget to leave me a like, stick a comment in the comment section below if you want to join the discussion on these two replays. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, informative, you liked it, or you learned something, then please consider hitting that subscribe button because there's a lot more World of Tanks content on this channel. So I've been Maxwell, this has been World of Tanks, and I will catch you guys next time.